suffering a stroke and heart failure. The late Pope's funeral will be held at 10 a.m. local time on the 26th of April, the Vatican have said. They have also released images of Pope Francis in his open coffin, wearing a red robe, papal mitre and holding a rosary. The photos were taken at Casa Santa Marta. Meanwhile, the cardinals gathered at the Vatican today to plan Pope Francis's funeral, which leaders from around the world will attend ahead of a conclave next month to elect a new head of the Roman Catholic Church. Tributes have flooded in globally, and his home country of Argentina has declared a week of mourning, while India began 3 days of state mourning. We head now to the Middle East, and an Israeli drone strike has killed a senior Jama Islamiyah commander near Damour, south of Beirut, marking an escalation near the Lebanese capital. Meanwhile, Israeli air raids across Gaza have left at least 25 Palestinians dead and dozens injured, targeting residential areas and municipal equipment, according to local reports. The attacks followed the collapse of a 2-month ceasefire in March. Let's listen in to one of the locals who witnessed this reported strike.
يعني توقعنا كل الخيام اللي ينحرقن اساسا بنناشد كل الامه العربيه وكل الاسلام يشوف حل الموضوع هذا وقف من الحرب اللي بصير هذا اللي صار. سمعنا صوت صاروخ، بعد هيك نيران اشتعلت، نيران كثيفه، نيران حتى الجيران هرعت للمكان على اساس انه طفي، ما قدر يطفي النار.
Well, continued ceasefire negotiations are underway in Cairo, with mediators proposing a 5 to 7 year truce and full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza in exchange for a full release of Israeli hostages. Hamas has shown a willingness to relinquish control of Gaza, though Israel remains firm on continuing its offensive until Hamas is dismantled. We now move to Europe, and French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot has called Vladimir Putin's surprise Easter truce in Ukraine as nothing more than a marketing operation designed to placate US President Donald Trump. Barrot said the move appeared to be aimed at calming Trump's growing frustration over stalled peace talks. His remarks come just a day after Russia abruptly resumed aerial strikes on Ukraine, effectively ending the short-lived truce and casting doubt on Trump's stated hopes for a broader ceasefire deal this week. Additionally, Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed bilateral talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The offer comes as the US, Ukraine and key European allies will gather in London to push for an unconditional ceasefire later this week. Putin said Russia remains open to discussions and emphasised avoiding strikes on civilian targets. The Kremlin clarified that bilateral talks could cover these issues directly with Kyiv. Let's listen in to the Russian president.
С этим нужно разобраться. Это все предмет для такого тщательного исследования. Может быть, и в двустороннем порядке. В результате дела мы этого не исключаем. Так что мы все это проанализируем и будем принимать соответствующие решения. Боевые действия возобновились. Мы об этом сказали с самого начала, когда объявляли перемирие. Мы к перемирию всегда положительно, поэтому и выступили с такой инициативой, позволят речь идет о светлых пасхальных днях.
Well, in Ukraine, President Zelensky, in his nightly address, confirmed that Ukraine is ready for dialogue, but insisted Moscow must commit to ending attacks on civilians. This follows repeated ceasefire violations, including during Russia's proposed Easter truce, which Ukraine claims was breached over 1,000 times. Similar claims were made also by Russia. The US liquor industry is feeling the heat as President Donald Trump's tariffs send shockwaves through supply chains in California. Bar owners, distributors and liquor store operators are speaking out on how they're navigating the rising costs and an uncertain future as they scramble to adjust to the new economic landscape. Let's listen in to what one of the owners has had to say.
I was got shocked, honestly, and I can't figure a word to about the tariffs, the news, because if we in this area, German horse has been struggle for maybe about a year already. Start from 24, and then the blind pig still new. It just opened up about a year, and tariffs is gonna be hurt as really bad because everything goes up the price.
Well, the same sense of unease extended in Asia, with Asian markets falling after another rough session on Wall Street. The drop came after President Trump launched fresh criticism of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Japan's Nikkei closed down 4.4%, with the broader topics also sliding. South Korea's Kospi dropped 0.34%, and Hong Kong futures signalled a weaker opening. Meanwhile, gold soared to an all-time high, briefly hitting $3,500.10 an ounce. The surge came as investors rushed into buying the metal, reacting to the president's tariff threats and a weakening US dollar. In another major development, Swiss pharma giant Roche has announced it will invest $50 billion in the US markets over the next 5 years. It's one of the largest corporate investments made in response to Trump's trade policies. Roche says the move will create more than 12,000 new jobs, including 6,500 in construction and 1,000 at new and expanded facilities. In North America, Harvard University has filed a lawsuit to lift a